Hi, welcome to 15 Minutes with Sir Noni, the program dedicated to unpacking the complexities within the education system. Each week, we delve into pressing issues from funding disparities and curriculum debates to innovative teaching methods and the evolving role of technology. We aim to foster thoughtful discussions with our educators, policymakers, and students, providing platform for diverse perspectives. Our goal is to shed light on the challenges and opportunities facing education today, empowering listeners to engage in meaningful change. Join us as we explore the future of learning, one conversation at a time. For our maiden broadcast, we are going to tackle the issue on the no collection policy of DepEd. The Department of Education no collection policy prohibits the collection of fees from students and teachers in our public schools, whether it is in the secondary, elementary, or senior high school during enrollment or at any time during the school year. This policy aims to ensure that basic education will still remain free. DepEd or the Memorandum number 41, a reiteration of DepEd Order number 41 series of 2012, it reiterated that the sale of tickets and the collection of contributions in any form for our school children, students, and teachers are strictly prohibited. This prohibition applies to any person for any project or purpose, whether voluntary or otherwise. DepEd personnel are also advised to avoid unwarranted solicitation and collections. However, there are exemptions to this policy. The no collection policy does not cover membership for organizations such as the Philippine National Red Cross, Girl Scouts of the Philippines, Boy Scouts of the Philippines, and contribution from parents and other donors to support barrio high schools. Okay, another exception to this is the school publication fee, okay, which is okay, in the elementary and in the high school alike. Now, the penalty for non-compliance of the DepEd no collection policy may result in penalties under Republic Act 4206 issued in 1965 as amended. The penalties may include imprisonment up to 1 month or both at the court's discretion. Not to mention the administrative case that the teacher or the school administrator will face in violation of the no collection policy. Let me clarify that even if there are exemptions to the no collection policy, like those of the Philippine National Red Cross membership in the GSP or BSP, publication fee, and collection for the support of Barrio High School, it is very important that while contribution is exempted in any form, it should not be mandatory or coerced collection. Even under the guise of contribution, that is strictly prohibited. That is mainly voluntary. The policy emphasizes all authorized collection must be genuinely voluntary and not imposed upon the students or its families. Now, let us explore the no collection policy impact on our school funding. The no collection policy surely impacts school funding by restricting the collection of fees from our students, which can affect the resources available for our programs and operation. Now, to offset this potential funding shortfalls, the schools are exploring alternative funding sources such as public-private partnerships and community-driven initiative. Now, the no collection policy can lead to decreased funding for our schools because it is prohibiting collection of fees from students for various projects and purposes. This is the policy implemented to ensure that basic education remains free for all students, removing financial barriers, but but it may limit the financial resources available to the schools, okay, for our infrastructure, educational resources, and other essential um, services. However, there are suggested alternative funding sources. Okay, to address this funding challenge by the posed by our no collection policy, the schools should have to explore alternative funding source. This may include our local government units. This may include also the public-private partnership, collaborating with government and private entities will provide funding to our construction and maintenance of educational facilities. Okay, we can leverage, okay, from private investments and expertise. There are also other fund sources as international donors and NGOs. There are many international organizations and non-government organizations and foundations that can provide grant and financial assistance to our educational projects. Aside from that, we can exploit or not, we can ask for help from our private corporations because they have their program also of the corporate social responsibility in which corporations may fund educational initiatives as part of their CSR programs, including building schools, including the provision of facilities, or funding educational program. Aside from that, there are also community contributions wherein we can explore local communities, okay, because they can contribute through fundraising activities, also through donations and volunteer efforts to support educational facilities. There are also national grants, okay, okay, by our national government, grants and programs. One example of this is the Kalahi, the national government. Okay, sometimes there are other agencies other than the Department of Education may have grants or programs that aim to improve educational infrastructure which can be accessed by our local schools or our educational institution. Another is kay alumni and philanthropic contribution in which alumni that are alumni organizations of our schools can be a significant source of funding through donations and fundraising campaigns. You know, uh, partnership is one of the key work of our educational administrator, of our education administrators. It is in how yung mga school principals natin, paano sila makadiskarte sa ating mga funding source agencies so that they can forge partnership and may grant some funds our for our school. Let me clarify that even if there are exemptions to the no collection policy like those of the Philippine National Red Cross membership, membership in the GSP or BSP, publication fee, and collection for the support of Barrio High School, it is very important that while contribution is exempted in any form, it should not be mandatory or coerced collection. Even under the guise of contribution, that is strictly prohibited. That is mainly voluntary. The policy emphasizes all authorized collection must be genuinely voluntary and not imposed upon the students or its families. Now, what are the measures that are in place that is available to us to ensure that voluntary contribution are not coerced? So, DepEd has several measures to ensure that our contributions are voluntary and not coerced, emphasizing transparency, adherence to guidelines, and accessible reporting mechanisms. These measures aim to protect the right to free basic education and prevent undue financial burdens on our students and their policies. DepEd has been issuing numerous orders and memoranda to clarify the permissible scope of fees and contribution in our schools. In fact, DepEd Order number 41, series of 2012, okay, uh, and other related issuances remind our school administrators that no student shall be required to pay fees as a condition for enrollment or taking any examination or from graduation, okay, or from the issuance of report card. The underlying principle is while the Parent Teachers Association or similar organization in our schools may solicit support for certain projects such as solicitation must never be coercive. Again, it must never be coercive but strictly voluntary. Our no collection policy is also strict, okay, in the implementation during enrollment and the first weeks of our classes to prevent imposing undue financial burdens to the families. So any form of coercion, such as withholding report cards, barring students from school activities due to non-payment of PTA contributions, is strictly prohibited and led to administrative sanctions. It can be penalty or fine, or it can be imprisonment, or both. So, to maintain transparency and accountability, any collection that are managed by our Parent Teachers Association, not by individual school officials. PTAs are expected to maintain records of collections and disbursements, which must be open for inspection by their members. The school head or principal usually exercises oversight but does not control the funds directly. So there should be annual reports detailing the use of PTA funds that is going to be presented to the general membership. The schools are expected to openly discuss purpose and use of voluntary donation to maintain a transparency. Now, what are the reporting mechanisms and remedies? Our DepEd has regional division and district offices that supervise public schools where complaints about unlawful collections or forced donations can be brought for investigation and resolution. Parents who experience pressure to pay or encounter mandatory charges can actually report such incidents to the school division office or directly to DepEd itself. If direct communication does not resolve the issue, parents may file a written complaint with DepEd or the Office of the Ombudsman against the principal or against the teacher, especially if public officials are involved in illegal exactions. So DepEd also launched an email portal. In fact, our division in the schools division of Zamboanga del Norte do have an email portal to address this complaint. So public pressure and media involvement can also be used to bring attention to the issue and encouraging the school to voluntarily cease the practice of coercion. Now, what specific guidelines does DepEd provide to schools regarding voluntary contributions? Department of Education provides specific guidelines to our schools regarding voluntary contribution to ensure that there is transparency, prevention of coercion, and uphold the right to free basic education. The guidelines covers various aspects including allowable contributions, collection procedures, and accountability. So, DepEd permits the collection of specific voluntary contribution for organizations such as Boy Scouts of the Philippines, Girl Scouts of the Philippines, Philippine National Red Cross. Contributions for publication and student organization are also allowed, provided that they adhere to set limits and guidelines. The collection of contributions should be always voluntary, and students should not be compelled to pay any amount as a requirement for enrollment or for taking an examination. To ensure that the collection are genuinely voluntary, Okay, DepEd prohibits certain practices such as requiring payment before admission or release of report cards. Schools must avoid setting up enrollment procedures that discriminate between those who can contribute and those who do not. The moral suasion of our authority of school heads or teachers should not be used to shame or um, criticize those who does not contribute. And during enrollment, schools must post announcements stating that enrollment does not require any contribution or fee, that all contributions are voluntary. In fact, there will be a separate table to be manned by the PTA personnel or volunteers that is going to be set up that will receive the voluntary contribution located away from the enrollment area, and there should have to be a sign indicating that voluntary contributions. So talaga meron siyang sign na ilalagay doon sa table na voluntary ang yung mga contributions. So PTA may be authorized to collect financial contributions from their membership to implement programs and projects for the school's benefit. But this fee should be voluntary and agreed by the members in the General Assembly. The amount of contribution to the PTA should be agreed upon during the General Assembly and concurred with the school head or the principal. PTAs are urged to refrain from setting exorbitant amounts for voluntary school contribution, considering the expenses parents incur in sending their children. So the contributions the PTA should be in a per member basis, regardless of the number of children the member has enrolled in the school. Okay, PTAs are encouraged to open and maintain bank accounts to manage their collection and budget. And each school must submit PTA in the school must submit a financial report on how the past school year's collection were utilized. This report should have to be submitted to the principal and where applicable to the school governing council and the school's division superintendent before the end of July. And failure to submit financial reports may result in the prohibiting the concerned organization from collecting fees or contribution in the subsequent school year. So teachers and other school personnel are strictly prohibited to collect contributions for organizations. These organizations should assign their personnel to collecting contribution membership fees at the school level. Teachers and other school officials and school personnel again is prohibited from selling requiring the purchase of locally produced workbooks, instructional materials, and non-payment of voluntary school contribution or membership fee should not be the basis for non-admission of our students, non-promotion, or non-issuance of clearance to our students. Okay. Now, the thing is, the question maybe is there a specific limit on the amounts that can be collected for voluntary contribution? Yes. DepEd provides a specific limit on the amounts that can be collected for voluntary contribution. These are in place to ensure that the contribution is affordable and voluntary in nature. For publication, elementary should not pay more than 60 pesos and high school should not pay more than 90 pesos as per DepEd Order number 19 series of 2008. Our PTA determines the reasonable amount to be collected, but it should be agreed upon during the General Assembly. The Boy Scouts of the Philippines and Girl Scouts of the Philippines contributions are capped at 50 pesos per learner, and the Philippine National Red Cross is capped at 35 pesos for learners per learner, and the Anti-TB Fund Drive is capped at 5 pesos for learner. So that is the limit. Now for our PTA, they are reminded that they should have to avoid exorbitant amounts of voluntary contributions, considering the many expenses that parents incur in sending our children to school. The amount of contributions to the PTA should be agreed upon during the General Assembly. Let me reiterate that, and concurred okay, by the principal or the school head for that matter. And that contributions to the PTA should be a per member basis, not the number of children that the member has enrolled in our school. Now, now, let this maiden broadcast be a reminder to us all of the no collection policy of DepEd. This is your host, Sir Noni, with our program, 15 Minutes with Sir Noni. Again, see you next week.